Good afternoon and welcome. This is Stephanie Kenner from the Learning and Development team at My Local Aggregation. And we're thrilled that you've joined us today for the Strategic Partnerships webinar. Today's webinar will run about 40 minutes and it will be recorded. So for those of you that would like to share it with your colleagues or revisit the content, you'll be able to receive that recording. You'll also be eligible for one CPD point as well, and we'll give you those details later on. That's both for the FBAA and MFAA. So we are thrilled today that we have got really the most amazing people here to join us. If you haven't already read the promo, we've got our CEO, Jaci Smith, and also our Head of Partnerships, which is James Cerolini. So this is a real treat for those of you joining us to be able to hear from these two people speak about this topic. So as you've seen from reading the description of this, we're going to be sharing not only how to get connected to those partners that are associated in industries close to us to be able to gain leads, but also the technology behind this that'll really support you in maintaining those relationships and keeping a track of that business that you've got in the pipeline. So I'd like to welcome very warmly Jaci and James. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Steph. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Steph.
Excellent. All right, well, we'll get started. Look, for those that may have heard me talk around the traps over the last, 5 years, look, lead generation has been one of those things that has either worked for brokers or hasn't worked for brokers. My obsession, I guess, with leads and better qualifying leads started when I first launched the very, very initial platform for My Local Broker back in 2012. And from there, generating client details, names, number, and email addresses, that was all good and well, but you really didn't understand what part of the journey is. They were at. So one of the things that we do very, very well here is trying to understand exactly where that person that's being introduced to you as a referral, be it coming off the web or be it through an actual face-to-face partnership, which is what a lot of what we're going to talk about today, is actually qualifying these clients as being market ready for you to deal with. Now, there's a number of different ways that we work through that process by harvesting their data to be able to create a profile to be able to share with you, be it a web lead or be it a partnership lead. Look, I'm a big believer in face-to-face, and when people say to me, hey, Jaci, with all the technology that you're building, you could, essentially you could just run this without brokers. And I find that highly offensive. A, because I love this industry more than anything. B, I'm here to protect it. And C, I still believe that customers still want to sit with someone face-to-face. And more importantly, the amount of time that people actually have to give someone to sit down with them and talk about their situation is becoming less and less. And for those that have seen us on our Chief Roadshow recently, we talk about this whole ability to see people or to gain things without pain. So we talk about Uber, we talk about Uber Eats, we talk about Airbnb. People want things quickly, but they still want some form of interaction. So when I essentially got funded with this business 2.5 years ago, I made the decision to bring in a dedicated partnerships manager, and that's James. And what James does for me here is essentially he will work with businesses the old-fashioned way, go in and talk about our technology, about our value proposition with our broker network, and essentially create the partnership. Then we essentially go and find brokers to match to those partnerships to help them with their client database. Now, James has done an amazing job and has more than 20 partnerships already active in the market, and he's got a hell of a lot of offers. I know his LinkedIn inbox, as well as mine, as well as organic inquiry, is flooded every week. The reason why people like real estate agents, and if you were to ask me 2 years ago if I thought a real estate agent would break away from their traditional relationship that they have with their in-house broker, I would have said, yeah, they're probably not going to, because we know Ray Whites and the loan markets and the LJ Hookers and all those guys in the past have had a very tight-knitted system. It's not as tight-knitted anymore, and we're cracking through that real estate agent ceiling at a rapid rate of knots, and we encourage all brokers that join us to get involved in that. Now, the reason why they choose us is because of this technology that we've built behind the referral platform. And James will talk through that a little bit later on. But there's all great and well to get a name and a number from a referral person, but if they can't see where the deal's at or how much money it's going to make them, or be able to actually have that conversation with that client and say, well, look, I understand that you're with this broker and that you're obviously moving through the process and you're almost at the end, it really helps to really open up that level of transparency. We also provide an amazing amount of technology just in terms of booking the customer from that referrer's website. But that's definitely James's, I don't want to steal his thunder. He's worked really, really hard at getting this off the ground. We have also a really big strategic alliance with CoreLogic, and next week is the start of our pilot, and we're the only aggregator in the country on this pilot with them. We will be having 18,000 leads generated through this business over the next 3 months. So roughly it's about 3,000 a month in Victoria and 3,000 a month in New South Wales. So it's just a Vic New South Wales pilot. So for brokers that are looking for more leads and to get in front of more customers and to want to build that database, because that client database will be worth more than your trail. I've said this a number of different ways to brokers recently. Trail income, we don't know how long it's there for. Let's just argumentatively say for a good couple of years yet. The value of any broker business will be valued on the amount of data you hold on your clients in terms of the types of transactions that they've had, the future transactions that they will have, and that will obviously be driven through artificial intelligence. Tyler and myself and Rodney, our CTO, we're off to Sydney next week for an artificial intelligence finance conference. That will largely drive your customers in terms of where they're heading next and what type of services you'll offer them. So this is definitely the business for you to join in terms of aggregation. If you are, dead set on the data, dead set in making sure that you can continue to service your customers, and also just, with that technology. Our technology is open API. It has the ability to enhance, in less than 30 days, unlike our competitors. So I'll hand you over to James to start to talk about the agenda, and I'll be around for questions at the end.
Thanks, Jace. Thanks for the nice introduction there. I suppose what we're wanting to go through today is, I'm just trying to get this mouse to work, is I suppose identifying partnerships in your local area, using software to your advantage, and improving lead conversions as well as reporting, and diversifying revenue streams. So to kick off, your local area is obviously the key focus for any of your partnerships. If you're starting out or wanting to partner with real estate businesses or accountants or financial advisors, use your local knowledge to your advantage. You've already got common ground there. You understand what the market's like as a broker. It's your backyard. Use that to your advantage when you're working with real estate agents, especially. As Jaci sort of mentioned, in the past, real estate agents haven't been the best referrers, but you don't have to teach real estate agents how to refer. You can work with them. You can attend open for inspections. You're the opportunity maker. So, I work with 15 real estate agents at the moment that I've got brokers attending weekly open for inspections. And don't get me wrong, it took quite a long time to get these partnerships up and running, but we had to build trust and rapport. And it does take time. So just because your partnership doesn't kick off at a flying start, you're not getting leads in your inbox every single day, it does take time. But there's so much value and so much opportunity with those businesses because they're an established business. And they've got big books and big databases. They've got, social awareness through the likes of CoreLogic and RP Data that, they've got a product there that are drawing new clients every week. With their property listings. So, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and attend open for inspections and, provide credit advice to people coming in the door. The real advantage for real estate agents working with you is the fact that, you're getting financial data on on clients that aren't even theirs. So they might not even purchase the property that they've walked into, but you can help assist them with whatever goals they may be, and also potentially put them in another property that estate agent might already have. So, also align yourselves with businesses that have common values to your own. You know, our core value here is that consumer experience. The more hassle-free and, you know, trouble-free that we can make that experience for yours and their clients, the more stickier they are to you and them. So, you know, which in turn creates ongoing referrals. So technology plays a very big part in that for us. You know, we want to empower our brokers to have a very big point of difference when it comes to lead management, reporting, and consumer journey. So I'll go through that with you shortly. So, you know, don't be afraid to use technology to your advantage in regard to that. And, you know, do your research, understand the business, understand what their key value proposition is, understand, you know, what they do well and where you can help assist, and, you know, what your key value add is. Remember, you're the opportunity maker. You're the one that can help release equity in that rental role. You know, landlords, they've already got investment properties. Let them know you can help them release equity in, you know, properties that they already own, where they can then invest in another one or list another one and, you know, upsize, downsize, or whatever it might be. Let them know of the opportunities that you can create, and how, you know, software can create that hassle-free and really fluent transaction. You know, please send through some questions if you have any of, I suppose, roadblocks you've had in the past with existing referrers. You know, we obviously sit with a number of referrers every week, so we generally understand what roadblocks you generally have and how to sort of overcome them. You know, there's businesses out there that are quite adverse to refer to brokers, but, you know, eventually they'll come around and understand what the value add is. You know, we work quite hard to maintain our relationships, and we go over and above to ensure that we're getting conversions. That's the key. It's all good and well that they're sending you 20 leads, but if you're not converting and playing phone tag with the client for 2 weeks, then there's no point. You're just wasting your time, you're wasting their time, and you're better off using your time elsewhere. So we've come up with ways in which we can increase conversions to ensure that, you know, your time is best used, and, you know, your referral partners are getting the best outcome for themselves as well as their clients.
Yeah, and I think just on that part, the way that we do better convert, for brokers that are already currently with us, you'll be aware of the Launchpad feature that sits within Chief. The Launchpad feature essentially is a borrowing capacity indicator that live pings every bank in terms of its qualifying assessment ratios, in terms of maximum borrowing capacity. So in terms of when we generate these leads for you, we set them up on the booking system that accesses your own diary, and then we essentially push them to your My Local profile, which allows them to start, you know, inputting that fact find data and their supporting documents. That allows you to run through that Launchpad and get back to them really quickly in terms of borrowing capacity. It may be a suburb report. All of that sits dynamically within the My Local platform, and they're really good ways of really taking that customer off the market, because we know that if it's an online lead particularly, even if it's coming from a referrer, they do expect to be serviced quite quickly. Wouldn't you agree, Jace?
Yeah, correct. You know, consumers are wanting answers straight away. You know, it's, as sort of Jason mentioned before, around, you know, Uber Eats, menu log, you know, online shopping, for instance. It's that convenience factor that we're all wanting, is the fact we want an answer straight away, and we want people to work with us straight away. So, you know, currently at the situation with, you know, existing aggregators, you're doing multiple lender spreadsheets to find out if your client's going to service or not. You're spending, you know, hours and hours entering data over and over, whereas, you know, we've finally been able to develop a platform which has answers straight away. So your clients, you know, that journey with you is seamless, it's easy, and, you know, in the end, it's getting ongoing referrals. So, you know, we're trying to embrace technology in a way that really value adds to your business, reduces that time, effort, and cost of getting a client from fact find through to settlement, where you can spend more time working on your business rather than in your business. So, which probably takes us to the next slide, around reporting. You know, transparency around where deals are at, and letting your referral partners know exactly what's going on, where things are at. It really helps them on the other side of the fence. Say it's a real estate agent trying to settle a property and making sure the sale goes through, or likewise with a conveyancer. There's transparency around where deals are at, whether things are conditional, unconditional, et cetera, et cetera. So we're pretty fortunate that we've got a platform that's plugged into all those back channel messages, which creates a pipeline which continually pushes along at each stage, which is great. So we can quickly snapshot this and send it off to a referral partner at any time, and they can see that A, our brokers are doing the job, B, you're doing your job, and that client's on the road to settlement on time, just due to your proficiency. So that conversation piece about being transparent, aware of where deals are at, be on the forefront of acknowledging that things are on track. If they have to pick up the phone and say what's going on, where things are at, you're not doing your job. We want to get to the stage where we have the ability to have live updates and portals for these guys to be actually log into and see absolutely everything. Would you like to add anything there, Jace?
Yeah, look, I think, and like James said, we are very obsessed with the way that we can report back to referral partners, and it does really open up a line of communication where it might be that you're too busy seeing other clients, and it might be a customer that's due to settle in 3 days time, and you want to just make sure that everything's ready to go, because obviously the real estate agent's obviously involved in that transaction as well, and there's conveyances, and this is technology, guys, that you can walk in and create your own partnerships with on the back of feeling confident that every time that we receive a back channel message from a lender, or that Chief creates its own back channel message from fact find through to submission, that your referrers are actually understanding exactly where the transaction is up to. And look, this has largely been a problem for brokers in the past, because if you are busy, you might receive a notification to say, look, it's been formally approved. You're flat out ringing the customer, let alone ringing the referrer as well. And they tend to get their knickers in a bit of a knot sometimes. And we've all been there. I know as a broker, I've been there myself. So this is really starting to create that nice seamless transition of where customers and your referral partners, everyone knows where they're at. And it also provides a dollar figure too in terms of referral income for the referrer. And our commissions platform. So for those that aren't aware, but we built our own commissions platform. I think a lot of people don't realize just how much technology we've built in 2.5 years, but it's also important to just mention at this stage too, with our technology, that all our technology has been built here in South Melbourne. Not one bit of it has been built offshore. We had PricewaterhouseCoopers conduct a cyber risk audit for us in the last fortnight. We have a very, very clean bill of health. PricewaterhouseCoopers also do all our risk and compliance as well. So they create our partnership and referral agreements. But our commissions platform called ComTracker, essentially when we get paid, you get paid and your referrer gets paid. And it might be that the referrer is split up a number of different ways. But rest assured, this technology that's sitting there that my BDMs or James, our partnership manager, can take you through just to show you how it works.
Yeah, just on that, it's really important to understand where the referrals are coming from and who within those businesses those referrals are coming from. And look, it's a great, it's really beneficial to the referrer themselves. I work with a number of builders that have a number of display suites. So they want to be able to track on, which sales agents referring through to the broker network, and are they not referring, or are they going elsewhere outside of the agreement they have in place? So, they're able to incentivize off the back of those appointments, which is great. So, we obviously, the same technology that we use in-house for our referrals, we actually open up to our brokers as well. So you actually have the ability to track where the source of your referral, as well as the client that actually referred it in-house, so that there's that transparency within the business as well. So I'm a big believer that reporting is probably one of the biggest benefits that brokers have when it comes to getting partners over the line. I know when I sit with my referral partners, and they see what we have to offer, they're really blown away because they've never had it before. And in this day and age, what brokers are needing is a point of difference when it comes to broking or dealing with referral partners. Brokers need a point of difference when it comes to competing with banks or competing with other brokers. So if you have the ability to get a client from fact find through all the way through to settlement quicker than anybody else, then that's a win in my books.
I think the other thing too to talk about this is it will actually show your referral partner just how quick you are in terms of getting your clients through stages. So that the client that they provide you with, that you might be able to show them that compared to another broker that might take a week, you're taking, less than a day to get them from fact find through to scenarios through to submission. And we've got brokers already using our platform that have quite essentially, cut down the fact find, entering the document collection. They've got it all done within 3 hours, where they're creating scenarios, compliance documents, and are prepared to submit the deal. So from a reporting point of view too, that you can say to your referral, on average with my other referral partners, by the time I get provided a client from any referrer, that within 2 days I've collected everything. We've prepared the scenarios, we provided the preliminary assessment, the credit proposal disclosure documentation, we've created the scenarios, we've essentially put together the application, and we've submitted that through to the portal, and we've received a message back from the lender to say that they've received it. And where everyone else might be like, oh, well, it's usually taking days or weeks to be able to even get an application ready. And to a referrer, that means quicker money, right?
Oh,
it means quicker money. And that whole time delay that you're spending just through manual, grabbing data or having to re-input data, because when you go from your current broker platform, you submit to apply online and you've got all those red X syndromes because the data's fallen out. For those brokers that understand our system, we've engineered Chief off the back of the way that Apply Online receives data. So the exact same way that we receive data in Chief is the exact same way that Apply Online does. So if you're getting your customer to input the data in your My Local profile, and that flows through to Chief, you could be doing all of this like some of our brokers are doing within hours. And we run best practice webinars here for brokers to learn exactly how to get that formula right. But again, this is the big difference for your referral partners when it comes to, do I want to deal with James because James, does it in 3 hours, or do I want to deal with Tom who does it in a week? Well, I'm going to get paid quicker with James, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think that I suppose leads into our next slide, which is around lead capture. I could imagine a number of you guys have partnerships in play at the moment where you get a text message, you get an email, you get a phone call with client details, you play phone tag with that client for the next 3 days. Come the 4th day, they're no longer interested. So for us, we're really around that conversion. We want to improve that client user journey where that transaction piece is seamless. So what we've done is all our brokers that come on board, we set them up with ultimately a referral portal where their referral partners can actually go in, enter their client details. We're also prompting the partner to provide certain information, which allows you to, I suppose, that discussion piece with an introduction piece of yourself to your client. You've already have an understanding of what their position is, what they're trying to do. There's already common ground. And it's a funnel in which all your leads can come through, and you can easily track where deals are coming from, which allows you to ultimately work on your business rather than working in your business, and I suppose calling it a client at a convenient time that suits them. Not only is it something extremely easy for your partners to use and it's one central place, but it's also a point of difference. It's convenient. It's something that no other broker out there is doing for partners. So, if you're sitting with an accountant or financial plan or a real estate agent or a developer or even a builder, and they've got an existing broker that they're currently sending leads through, this guy, one person's sending text messages, the other person's sending emails, the other one's calling the broker with information. It's a bit of a juggling act. But at least this way, it's convenient for the sales staff as well. And it's a point of difference. No other, and that's what we're after here. We're wanting you guys to be able to walk into businesses and let them know that you're better than the next person down the road.
Definitely. And in terms of all your privacy policies, your terms and conditions, they're obviously all written by PricewaterhouseCoopers as well. So they're rest assured that you're 100% compliant and capable of capturing all that data, which is obviously really, really important, particularly with all of the troubles that have being had in the market at the moment.
Yeah, and I suppose our software, I like to put it gets rid of the nitty gritty side of being a broker. That compliance piece of providing your client with a credit card and privacy policy. We've automated that. We've integrated DocuSign just to streamline that process for all your compliance docs. So we're doing the best we can to make your job as easy as possible, and I suppose also trying to keep up with all those regulatory changes. Being able to keep you guys up to date with what's going on is also another string in your bow when you're working with these guys, that you can talk about technology, how you're embracing it, and how it's a real point of difference in the market, because the rest of the market's relying on advisor and MPA updates. Just in regard to, I suppose, conversions, we've spent a lot of time working with one of our big referral partners, who's a national conveyancing firm, around improving that conversion flow. A lot of other businesses talk about hot transferring phone calls, or sending leads through inboxes or whatever it might be. We've gone to the next step and actually built a platform which taps into all our brokers' diaries, and basically creates buffers around existing appointments where our referral partners can actually book appointments live with our brokers. So the platform can't actually see what your appointments are, but it creates buffers around what you've currently got there, so that these guys can book appointments directly with you. Once again, we're capturing information on the client that allows you to pre-qualify them, as well as I suppose find some common ground that you can have a discussion point on. So off the back of confirming the appointment, the consumer automatically receives a property report from yourself that gets sent out, as well as the diary invite automatically saving to both yours and the client's diary. So we've had some really good conversion numbers over the last few weeks with this platform, where of all the appointments that were attended by our brokers, we had a 90% conversion rate. So we know that when you have the ability to get in front of these people, conversions are higher. You're strengthening your relationship there, and that's what we're trying to attain here, is a strong relationship with you and the client, but also, once again, a seamless transaction where these guys are passing client information on, booking appointments at a time that suits them, at a location that suits them. So just on that, we talk about conversions, and currently you may be astonished by the conversions, but conveyances are our #1 referral, purely because they have a live deal in their hands, and they have the ability to switch up an appointment set for us, which is great. 70% of our conversions are through builders, and 66% of those are actually from real estate agents. So take those numbers in hand and work with them, and I suppose be guided by those conversions, and going out there and generating your own partnerships. Part of our partnerships offering here at MLB is that we want to help you guys build and grow your business. So we'll empower you with the tools that will allow you to get these partnerships, but we'll also help you identify prospective partnerships in your area. So I'm more than happy to sit down with you guys and have a chat around what you want to do, where you want to be, and who you are identified in your local area that you want to partner with, and give you some guidance around what works, what doesn't work, and where your business can be a benefit. This is what we do day in, day out.
Yeah, so guys, look, from my experience, and I know there's probably a number of you that are online that have been obviously broking for as long as I have. I've just ticked over just over 12 years, but essentially my biggest lots of referrers actually came from accountants and also builders as well. The conveyancers, like James said, it's definitely an interesting market, because you would think to yourself that by the time they've got to a conveyancer, they're probably halfway through their finance clause at best, if not all the way out of their finance clause, and that they should be obviously in a position where they're getting ready to settle. But like James said, we're actually finding our highest conversion, and it's upwards of 70% of all those leads coming in through conveyancing are actually settling. So the conveyancer side of things is actually quite an interesting string to our bow here, and part of some of the technological developments that we're currently working on is to enable you to refer to this same conveyancing group as well. So that's one of our innovations that a number of you will be familiar with, Jaci Smith. But he's working with Think Conveyancing in terms of providing that referral partner, obviously as a referral partner for you guys to refer to, and obviously to make some referral income. But again, it just really comes back to the way that these referral partners want to deal with you. And if they're like anybody, they're getting a number of different people approaching them, asking them, well, can you refer me business? And just like every broker out there, you're all the same. All right, some of you might have more experience than others. When it comes to builders, you might be absolutely excellent. 70% or more of your deals are complete construction, which obviously is pretty good for a builder, because if you don't understand the construction process, which we know can be quite a fickle one, they probably don't want to deal with you. So it is a really interesting piece how our technology, you armed with this, you walking into a referral partner and showing them exactly what you can do, how that actually can change your whole business. And you're talking about, it might not be a flood of leads initially in the first month or two, but it's like James says, it is a rapport building exercise. I mean, technology still can't build rapport, but what we can do here is give you exactly the leading edge compared to every other broker in town, to go in there with confidence and to talk about how we can support that referrer, and how you can obviously help them open up a new diversified cash flow, all based on technology. So one of the things out of the back of this webinar that James will be doing is essentially working with our brokers on exactly how to arm them with their own materials and their spiel, and how they can actually be coached to walk into these referral partners with confidence in terms of signing up these referral partners. As you're aware, we obviously do our own partnership sign-ups here as well for brokers. So, you can have that same conversation with James and say, James, I'd actually really like for you to go in there and do the deal with that partnership for us. And he will go and do that for you. So there are two different ways. Obviously, you can go out there and be armed with everything that we do, and you can do it yourself, or you can talk to James and he can obviously make that all happen for you.
Yeah, I suppose it's a good touch point as well, just on that diversification piece. I sort of look at it as creating your own mini supply chain. So think of that transaction for your client when they are, purchasing a property or, managing their wealth. Who do you need to be aligned with to create that transaction to be even more seamless? Align yourself with a conveyancer, align yourself with an investment property expert, align yourself with a number of businesses in which you can leverage off to gain referrals, but also referral back. Ultimately, off the back of this, you have the ability to diversify your revenue stream. So here at MLB, we've got a number of partners that we work with when it comes to off the plan property purchases, investment property strategy, conveyancing, and we also have our own platform which basically switches gas and electricity for people wanting to move homes. So that convenience factor of having their gas, electricity and pay TV already set up for them as soon as they move in is obviously great, and you have the power and ability to provide that to your clients and get a kickback off the back of it. We're also going down the path of property management. So I'm about to sign off a deal where all our brokers have the ability to give their clients 6-month free property management, and as well as get a referral fee on the top of it. So, being able to pass these opportunities onto your clients, which have been driven from opportunities you've created, not only gives more credibility to you and your brand through the businesses that you're aligned with, but, I've talked about it quite frequently, but, ongoing referrals is key. your own database is the best referral source that you have. Partnerships and businesses that you work with give you the ability to continually grow that database of yours. So, don't be afraid to reach out and refer back, and understand what the process is, understand what your core business is and the type of clients that you're working with, and what businesses can help you achieve a stable supply chain. And if you have the ability to diversify your revenue stream off the back of it, then that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, in terms of referral partners, I mean, James touched on this at the start, and it's probably one of the most commonly used phrases I've used in the last 5 years, is there's so much business in your local backyard. The days of having to drive an hour in one direction to see a client really are over, unless they're obviously a good client, or they're a referral from another, customer of yours, or whatever it might be that you decide that you need to travel. But in terms of what we're doing here, just with that diversified income as well, apart from partnerships, like James said, is that switch-in program, the Think Conveyancing, they'll all be built within Chief, and they'll be ready within the next 45 days. So you will be able to obviously provide your customers with the additional ability to, for services such as conveyancing, or if they're relocating, moving house, whatever it might be. We've also done a great partnership for those brokers in Victoria with Caden, where we work very closely with the directors of Caden. It's a very exciting time for Caden. They have a number of different amazing stock opportunities, as well as Mosaic, based out of Brisbane. Look, these guys are two amazingly, just that their attention to detail in their product is second to none. And for those brokers that have been around for a long time, you'll understand my sentiment when I've been approached by property developers in the past. It's been, it's been a bit of a touchy subject. So we've obviously done our due diligence with these guys, and as they have with us, and it's really become quite an amazing relationship in terms of what we are currently doing with them. The Caden side of things, I know that there's been a webinar on that already, but for Victorian brokers, even interstate brokers looking for properties to provide customers with the opportunity to look at purchasing for investment. And we also do some great investment products here. So for investment loans, particularly also for non-res as well. So we do have those products on our panel. So there are a lot of really good opportunities that we're really amalgamating together as a one-stop shop.
Yeah, 100%. The Mosaic opportunity is a great one, especially for the Melbourne and Sydney market, where, the price point of entry-level properties is that, 500 to 600,000 now. And, most of your clients don't want to invest in an apartment in the inner city. So, the strategic alliance with Mosaic gives our brokers the ability to refer their clients to, an inner city townhouse or an outer city house and land package at a good price point. Much like Jaci mentioned before, a referral is an extension of our own brand. It's an extension of your own brand. So acknowledging that with your referral partners, and I suppose acknowledging it when you're referring out as well, is very important. So we want to ensure the businesses that we align ourselves with are an extremely good representation of us, as well as our brokers. So there's a lot of due diligence involved when we work with our referral partners prior to them coming on panel, and it's definitely something that you should take on hand as well when you are setting up partnerships, as I sort of mentioned in the earlier slide around looking at common business values, and quality is a very big one.
Definitely. Well, with that, guys, look, there's a couple of different ways that we've mentioned that we can generate partnerships for you. So we can, on your behalf, generate a partnership for you. James can go in there and close the deal with that particular partnership. So that's a discussion piece that our brokers can arrange to have with James. So it's about a half an hour, isn't it, Jimmy?
Yep.
Half an hour to talk about essentially what type of partnerships that you would like to align with, any ideas of partnerships that you have in the back of your mind that would be winners. Alternatively, we can essentially give you all of the materials that you need to be able to go in and provide a slick presentation to these referrers, and James will obviously coach you on all the discussion pieces and to learn the spiel. But it is absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, the difference between you and every other broker jumping onto this program with this referral technology. For everyone that a referral partner may see, you guys are essentially, you've all got the same lenders, the same products, the same type of services. The ability to be able to provide transparency, the ability to take their customer quickly off the market by using our chief platform with their, the fact find and data collection through a front end facing portal connected to your My Local account. It all makes perfect sense. There's also another initiative that James and I are talking about as well, in terms of actually helping brokers to build their databases. And I think we started talking a little bit about it this morning, and we've got a few ideas. And I think, Steph, that will be another webinar in a couple of weeks. But essentially, we have got a few ideas in terms of, databases that we have access to that are legitimate databases. I mean, databases that are certified and are all good quality databases that we essentially can harvest opportunities for you guys. But it's really important to understand that when you do have the ability to access any form of database, whether it's your referral partner or it's a database that we can align you with, that we understand at every given moment what type of journey that customer is actually at. And it may be that they're not quite ready to buy yet. So it's all about timing, and that's something that we do extremely, extremely well here. So we'll open up the floor to questions.
Just wait for a couple of them to come through.
There we go.
That's a great question, Quinn. So how much do we need to pay a referrer? So it's a really interesting one. Unfortunately, the likes of real estate agents are cluey and understand that there's a dollar to be made. So, my golden rule is not to give away trail. The likes of accountants and financial planners, they won't take a referral fee, but the likes of developers and real estate agents definitely will. So the way I've sort of tackled it is, we do give away a certain percentage, and I recommend between that 20 and 25 mark, depending on the value of your property. So depending on, the types of property that you're working with, pick your mark. But we also include the consumer in many ways. So when we're working with the likes of Caden and Mosaic, there's actually we give back to the consumer on your behalf, so that there's an incentive for them there, but also that there's something tangible that they can walk away with. So to answer your question, the 20 to 25% is reasonable. I
think the highest ones we've done are about 30, but it's definitely does not exceed.
It depends
30%.
It ultimately depends on how much work's involved for yourself and the quality of leads that are coming through as well. So if they're smart, the likes of real estate agents, they're wanting properties to settle. They want a good broker. They want a good broker with technology that has the ability to get this done nice and quick for them. So it's hassle free. But unfortunately, they know that there's a dollar to be made.
Yeah, and there have been some referral partners that have just come in saying, "Oh, we just want a flat fee of a couple of $100 as well." But 9 times out of 10, it is an upfront fee. And like James says, I totally support him on the fact that you shouldn't be paying these referrers trail. And it's interesting with what you look at the way financial advisors currently operate with their requirements with ASIC and their dealer groups. They obviously aren't receiving any upfronts or trails and operate mainly on upfront fees. But even to justify their annual upfront fee these days, they actually have to prove to the dealer group to say, well, what they're actually specifically doing for that client. So if we're looking at a home loan that, say, settles today and it's with a XYZ real estate agent and Joe Blogg's Home Loans, Joe Blogg's Home Loans is paying XYZ real estate agent maybe 20% of the trail income. Eventually, if we end up being washed against a number of the different compliance mechanisms that financial advice businesses obviously run down, the question will be, well, what is the real estate agent doing to help that customer with every month to continue to receive that trail? Look, I think there's going to be a lot more to come out of that over the next 12 to 18 months. And I know my advisors at Price Waterhouse, and we're quite fortunate that our head lawyer was a lawyer at ASIC for 5 years. We're having these conversations actually with a major lender on Thursday in Sydney. So try and definitely avoid providing any trail to these guys, because I think it's something that's going to become very interesting with referral partners in the future.
Thanks, Jace. Got a question there. What are the next steps? So look, for brokers wanting to come on board with us, we make it nice and easy. We've developed a number of tools which make that transition process from one aggregator to another nice and simple. So it's obviously you've got a 30-day exit clause. Over that 30-day period, it is business as usual. There's probably about 3 hours of involvement from yourself through an application form, providing us supporting docs and filling out lender transfer forms that we require from you. So we do a lot of the heavy lifting over our side of the fence to bring you across, just to make that transition nice and easy. And off the back of that, we obviously set you up with everything that you need, as well as do an induction to partnerships. So I know a couple of the guys that are currently on the webinar. I've already sat down and assisted with them prior to coming on board with some partnership portals in order to win some prospective partnerships over the line. And it's just something that really allows you to have a point of difference and provide convenience to your referrers as well as their clients. So and things seem to be working really, really well. And I suppose just to wrap up, that reporting aspect around being transparent and being on the front foot with where deals are at, it really does help assist your referral partners do their job. That's the reason why they're sending you the deal. They've got a transaction that needs to be completed and they need your assistance to do it. So just remember that keeping them in the loop where things are at will pay dividends.
Great. Have we got any other questions?
No? All right. Look, I'll flick all the attendees an email with my contact details. If you have any further questions, or if you'd like to give me a call to have a chat around scenarios that you currently got, or I suppose some roadblocks you've had in the past, more than happy to help and assist. We're very much a service-based aggregation group, and committed to helping you guys grow and seeing your businesses flourish. So thanks again for attending. Appreciate you all putting time out of your day to tap in.
Excellent. Thanks, guys, again. And Steph will be in touch with a few questions. And if you'd like the copy of the presentation or a recording of this webinar, feel free to reply back, and we can send you the links to be able to download that. But stay tuned for more partnership talk. It's definitely the way to build your business of the future. Thanks, guys.